If you want to start investing in the new year but don't know where to begin, there are just 3 easy steps you need to take. Many new investors make simple mistakes at the beginning that cost them thousands down the road. They're easy to avoid, they don't take much time, you just need to know the steps, and you can get started with less than $100. Grab a drink, take a seat, let's talk about it. What's up, y'all? It's Brian. In this video, I'm sharing the step-by-step process that I used to start investing 10 years ago. It worked really well for me, even when I had very little time and less than $100 to invest per week. Before I invest a single dollar, I've got to know where is it coming from and where do I want it to go. No matter what the task is in life, improvement is impossible unless I track my metrics. This was true back in school. As much as I hated homework and quizzes, it's really good feedback to see the scores on my homework and quizzes to know if I'm ready for the final exam. With weightlifting, I need to make sure that I'm tracking the weights of each of my workouts so that I can experience progressive overload on my muscles to grow my muscles. No matter what it is, tracking is key. And with investing, tracking does 2 major things for me. Number 1, I make sure that I am able to invest as much money as I could possibly invest. Number 2, it protects me from being forced to sell my investments for a loss. And those are the 2 major things that hold beginners back. It stops beginners from being able to invest. And then once they start, if they're not tracking and they get in a bad situation, it's the number 1 way that people lose money. It's being forced to sell at the wrong time. Embarrassingly, I made this mistake several years ago when I was just getting started investing. You can probably tell by looking at me, I have very pale skin. I got to go to the dermatologist every year. One year, they thought I might have cancer, so I had to have an operation. I didn't have a big enough emergency fund at the time, and I was forced to sell some of my investments to pay for it. Fortunately, I didn't have cancer, and it wasn't tens of thousands of dollars, but if it was more money and the market was crashing at the time, it could have been horrible for me. And that's the thing with market crashes, is they're correlated with people losing their jobs. I am way more likely to lose my job when the market is crashing. So there would be nothing worse than if I lose my income, get hit with the double whammy of having to sell my investments at the worst possible time just to pay for my mortgage, my utilities, and my food. So the only way that I can protect myself from that situation is to have an emergency fund with at least 3 months of living expenses. Some people need 6 months. Some people even need up to a year. It's just going to depend on your individual situation, how quickly you can find a new job in your industry, and how volatile your industry is. The second major thing that budgeting does for me is it lets me track my cash flow. I got to make sure that I'm not falling victim to lifestyle creep. Every time I make a little bit more money at work, if I'm tempted to just spend it on a nicer car or get a bigger house or get a boat, then I'm creating more and more expenses for myself. And by the time I get old and I'm ready to retire, I won't be able to afford the lifestyle that I built up during my working years. So a budget makes sure that I can actually spend my money on what's really important to me, which for me, I value achieving financial independence and saving enough wealth to fund my lifestyle someday when I'm not able to work anymore. But creating an emergency fund and a budget was just step 1 for me. If I put my money in the wrong account, it could literally cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars by the time I'm ready to pull it out. And that is not an exaggeration. This would be like me running a marathon, but I brought the wrong shoes. Maybe I brought cowboy boots. Sure, maybe for the first couple miles, I can power through and keep up with the other competitors. But this mistake that I made at the beginning is going to compound and compound throughout the race. It's going to make me more tired. It's going to probably hurt my feet. Eventually, I'm going to be left in the dust. With investing, the same is true, except now we're talking about decades of saving, where one small mistake at the beginning can compound and compound to huge amounts of money. For instance, if I put $100 per week into a savings account, that is $5,200 by the end of the year. If I have a 1% yield on my savings account, then I'm going to end up with $115,000 after 20 years of saving. If I used a better account, let's say I used a brokerage account where I can invest in stocks and get an average annual return of 10% instead of 1%, now my account balance at the end of 20 years is $327,000. That's over $200,000 of a mistake if I did a savings account instead of a brokerage account. We can take this another step further. Instead of putting that money in a brokerage account, if instead I was able to put it in an IRA, then I would get tax savings on top of that. That might be saving 20% every year that I pull money out if I put it in a Roth IRA. And then I can take it even one step further. If I have a 401k program at work where my employer does a 50% match, then I can increase that yearly investment to $7,800 because of the matching. Now I'm almost at $500,000 from putting money in a savings account and ending up with just $100,000 to doing a Roth 401k with employer matching. Now I'm at $491,000. Here's the order that I prioritize the different investing accounts. First, I like to put money in the 401k to take advantage of the employer match. Now, on average, employers are only going to match up to 6% of your salary. So the first 6%, I prioritize the 401k, but the 401k you can actually put a lot of money in there. In 2025, the maximum contribution is $23,500. So off 6% of your salary, you're probably not going to fill up your 401k unless you're making like $400,000. So after I take advantage of the matching, I move away from the 401k, and the next place I prioritize is the IRA. Now there's two types of IRA. There's a traditional and a Roth IRA. The best one is going to depend on your specific situation. I've got a video that goes over that. But for me, I'm just going to go with my situation. I go with the Roth IRA, and I can put up to $7,000 in 2025 in my Roth IRA. If I am able to fill up the Roth IRA and I still have a little bit of money that I want to invest for retirement, then I'll start putting more money back into the 401k once again. But it is more important to prioritize the IRA over the 401k after I am able to complete the matching, because an IRA is more flexible. I'm able to get my money out of the IRA easier than the 401k, and the IRA has lower fees. If I'm not wanting to save for retirement specifically, because for me, that's like 30 years out. If I've got something that I want to save for that's 10 or 20 years out, then putting my money in a 401k or an IRA might not be optimal. In that case, I'm going to go for the brokerage account. Even though the brokerage account doesn't have the tax savings that a traditional IRA or Roth IRA has, it has the flexibility that allows me to actually access the money, which is incredibly important if I'm saving for a goal that's going to be coming up in 10 or 20 years. And then for short-term savings, if I'm wanting to target something that's 5 years out, I'm not going to put my money in a brokerage account. I'm going to go for the savings account, because investing in the stock market does carry a lot of risk. Over the short term, nobody knows if the stock market's going to go up or down. It's only over the long term where you're far more likely to make money in the stock market. So for 10 years and less, I'm going to put my money in a savings account. If it's 10 years and more, then I'm going to go after a brokerage account. And then if it's 30 years out or more, then I'm going to go for the IRA or 401k. Now that my investing flow chart is figured out, let's actually open these accounts. For the 401k, I actually didn't have to do anything myself. I went to my HR department. They automatically set up my 401k and have my paycheck, 6% of my paycheck go in there every week. So I don't have to think about it ever again. Now with the brokerage and the IRA though, this is separate and apart from my employer. I'm going to go with M1 Finance. I think it's really simple and easy to look at, has really good visual organizational style, and it's great for automating my investments. So first things first, type M1 Finance into Google, and then I click on the first link. Up in the top right-hand corner, just click Get Started. And then use an email that is secure for you and set up a password. And click Join M1. Next, it wants to confirm I am who I say I am. So it's just gonna have me enter my phone number and send me a confirmation text. Okay, I got my text. I'm just going to enter in the code. Now I'm just entering in all my profile information, first name, last name, address. Now I'm just entering in my profile information, date of birth, citizenship, status. Okay, after entering all my personal information, which took me less than 5 minutes, here we are. My account is opened. The next step is I need to link up one of my bank accounts so that I can automatically have my money come from my banking account to my brokerage account. And I'm also going to set up an IRA with M1 Finance as well. From the home screen to open up my brokerage and my IRA account, I click on the Invest tab. And then right here, well, first we'll go with the retirement account. So I click Open Account. Open IRA. In my case, I'm going to go with the Roth IRA, but this is something that you're going to want to research for yourself. I've got another video on it. The distinction between the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA is important, so be sure to watch that video. After clicking that I want to open a Roth IRA, it's going to go through the same process where I have to answer a handful of questions and maybe some personal information. So I'll quickly run through these. Ask for employment status. I am employed. And boom, less than 5 minutes, I'm able to set up the Roth IRA within M1 Finance. M1 gives me instant buying power, which means the moment I deposit funds into M1 Finance, I can immediately start investing it before it takes time to settle, which can take a few days. So it's just nice and convenient. M1 uses Plaid to keep my transaction secure, and then it's checking my phone number once again. At this stage, this is where I actually link my bank account to M1 Finance. I've already used Plaid for another finance app, so they already have my checking account with Chase. So I'm going to go ahead and just link my Chase account to this M1 Finance. But there is an add new account button below. So you just go through the steps, entering in your personal information. At this point, it's going to ask me to log into Chase so that Chase can confirm with Plaid and with M1 that we're all on the same page and that someone's not trying to hack into my account. Once again, to confirm, it's asking me to open up my Chase app and confirm that I am indeed wanting to link these accounts. It helps to have your phone handy while you're doing this on a laptop so you have multiple screens available. Switching through your different accounts is going to make this process a lot faster. Here's where I can fund my account with my initial deposit. I'm not going to deposit money just yet because I need to check my budget and make sure that I know how much I want to put in every week, or if I want to wait until the end of the year and put it all in at once. So I'm going to hold off on this. So it took me less than 10 minutes to set up my Roth IRA. I still have a few more steps here. I need to verify my address, my email address, build my portfolio, which is the stocks that I want to invest in, and then make my initial deposit. But the account is set up, didn't take any time at all. And now I'm going to move on to setting up my brokerage account. And for this account, this is going to be my YouTube portfolio account. So for future videos, I'm going to give updates on my YouTube investing portfolio. Whenever I talk about stocks or do stock analysis, we'll invest in this account so we can see how much this YouTube portfolio grows over time. So first, we click on Add Another Account, click on Individual Investing Account for my brokerage, and continue. Just accepting the terms. And once again, I need to connect a bank to get this portfolio started. I'm going to use the same checking account that I used before. Now that I have my checking account linked once again to my brokerage, I can set up recurring deposits. This is the key to success with investing because it removes user error. At this point, I don't have to think about it anymore. Money is going to automatically go from my checking into my brokerage, where it's going to automatically be invested every week. So to do that, I'm going to set it up for weekly. Gonna have a day of the week. I'm gonna have mine go in every Friday because that's after the day I get paid. And then the recurring amount will be $100 per week. That's my goal for my YouTube portfolio. Review and confirm. All right, so in less than 20 minutes, I was able to set up my Roth IRA and my brokerage account through M1 Finance, connect my banking account, and set up automatic recurring deposits for my brokerage YouTube portfolio. I mentioned earlier that the distinction between Roth and traditional IRA is incredibly important. If you make a mistake now, it can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars down the road. Click on this video right here to learn which account is best for you. Cheers.